So, you wanna make a FNaF fan game, huh? Well, you come to the right place. In this tutorial series, I'm gonna teach you how to do that in Godot, because we all know it is the superior engine, right? In this first part, we will learn about how to make a good office scrolling. I'm not saying it's the best method, but it works for me. Alright, so we're in Godot now. What you like to do is get your game's background. I'm using FNAF 1 sprite because, hey, it works. You gotta scale it up so it fits nicely with your window size and stuff. Okay. Make sure you got like space so it doesn't clip. And make sure it's on the edge, right? Yeah, like so. Now, let's rename it to background share. Now make a new node, call it office. So this will be the node you will be putting everything, right? So let's say you got like Golden Freddy sitting here or something, and you want him to move with the office. You put it in the office node, okay? Alright. Now we want the scrolling things, right? So let's make a quick little canvas layer. Let's call it scrolling and some area duties. Alright. Some collision shapes. Set the shape to a rectangle. Align the rectangle with the window. Make sure it overlaps the line where the window ends, so we can nicely make sure that the player always moves the camera when their mouse is like on the edge of the screen, right? Okay, let's make this one like pretty small, because it's like that you gotta put your mouse the most to the corner for it to move. Okay, we duplicate that, move it to the side, make sure there's like no weird overlapping or anything or like gaps. Get the collision shape, right click and make unique. We want to make it unique because if I didn't do that and try to rescale this, see, the other one also rescales. So make sure you made it unique. Yep, let's make this one like a bit bigger. For this setup, I'm gonna do like 3 areas for each side. You can do more, but in my opinion, like 3 is more than enough. Actually, like 4. Yeah, like 4 is good. But yeah, let's make 3. Yep, so there we go. Let's call these nicely. So L3, L2, and L1 to indicate how strong you move the camera. Alright, now let's put each one of them into a group. Alright, so we can do groups. Let's name it background scroll. Yeah, sure. Just make sure you got this name copied for future. Alright, and let's add every single one of these to a group. So every area to the. Okay, and let's give them all a new metadata. Let's call it SR for scrolling, and it has to be an int. Okay. Yep. So new. Yep. Right. Now this will be like our scrolling power. So how fast should the camera move when you overlap your mouse over it, okay? So let's make this one 1, this one 2, and this one 3. Yep, duplicate them, move them a little to the side, and let's rename them. So we got R1, R2, R3. Let's move them to the positions we want them to, so on the edges of the screen, just like so. Okay, nice. Yep, and change their data. Okay, as you can see, they are already in the group, so we don't have to change that. But what we do have to change is their metadata. So this has to be set to a negative number to go the other side. Okay. Yep. So that's it for the setup part. Now for scripting. So get your notice off node, the one that you're gonna scroll around. Right click, attach script, let's call it scrolling. Alright, so let's get some variables like office position. It has to be an float, you'll see why later. Direction, this one's a 0, and scrollable. Yep. So this will determine if we can scroll or not, right? For the times you want to turn it off, like when you're in the cameras or something, right? Now let's get ourselves our ready function, which will run at the beginning of the scene. We want to make scrolling visible. So visible equal true. Why? Because, well, you want to hide it, right? You don't want to see those ugly ass rectangles. Let's get them. Alright. So now we're getting our setup for the node. So for node, in get underscore tree. So in our scene, you could say that, yep. You get nodes in group. What's our group name? Yeah, I hope you remembered. It's called background scroll. Okay. Yep. So for those nodes, what we want to do is mouse entered connect. So connect that function to a on mouse entered. Alright. And bind the node to it. Yep. We do the same exact thing, but for mouse exited. And same name. So on mouse exited. Now we add those functions. So Godot won't scream at us for not having them. Yep, and this one. Node. For now, pass. Yep. Alright. Great. So we got this. So this will basically just get every single node in the group background scroll. So all of these nodes will connect mouse entered and exited signals to this, right? Pretty self-explanatory for now, isn't it? Let's get power, and that will be equal of the node that we're freaking using, right? We get its meta, so metadata, and we look how we called it as CR. Make sure, just to let you know, Godot does make the first letter capital, even though it's clearly not. See, metadata, it's not capital. So don't make that mistake. Alright, and of course, direction plus minus equal power. Yep. Same thing on mouse exited, but it's gonna be a plus. So if we get our simple little process delta, print, and direction. Very funny. Yep, so as you can see, it does change. Minus 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Yep, but it doesn't move, does it now? That's because we need to add movement. Okay, so let's start with if not scrollable. Return, so if we can't scroll, well, it doesn't do nothing, right? Obviously. Then we get our office pause plus equal direction. So let's say you put your mouse on 1, the direction is gonna be equal 1, so it's gonna add 1 to office position, right? 1 pixel. Then we set office pause to clamp. Let me spell correctly. Clamp. This will prevent our variable from going above or below certain ranges, you might say. So this is our locking, so your office doesn't like scroll away too far. So we got 0.0 and minus 303, right? So let's clamp. So you grab what you want to clamp, so office pause, obviously. Then we get the lowest value, so minus 303. And then we get the highest value, so 0.0. Make sure they got those point zeros, because it can't be an int, it has to be a float. And what's a float? Well, it's a 0.0, right? Something after the decimal point. Great. Then finally we grab our position.x, so the thing that's gonna be moving around, and we wanna lerp the value. So smoothly move around the value. So it doesn't just like jaggedly teleport, it like smoothly goes, you know? Alright. Lerp requires 3 arguments, so we want the thing that we're lerping. So position.x, aka the initial pose, then the second pose, so office pause, and then how fast. So 0.1 is like a good value. And let's see. Oh, it's the wrong direction, but that ain't no problem. You just gotta change this to a plus and that to a minus. And as you can see, we got the scrolling working. One might say it's a little slow. I would agree with that statement. So let me change this real quick. Like this, yeah. That seems good. -5, -3, 4, 3, and -2. Yep. So now we got the nice little scrolling. As you can see though, our mouse is going out of the window. That's because I'm in windowed mode. But if you got a second monitor and you're trying to play the game in full screen, what you're gonna see is that the mouse goes out of the freaking window, and see, you can't scroll. So how do we want to prevent that? Well, it's actually pretty simple. We check if the display server window dot underscore get underscore mode. So we check what mode the window is, and if it's equal to display server window mode full screen. So if it's full screen, then what we want to do is set the input in mouse mode, so our mouse, to be locked to captured. Oh no, I'm so sorry. Confined. Can I spell confined? So it's confined between the window, right? So now if you launch the game, as you can see, it works nicely. The reason why we're checking if it's full screen, because if we don't, and you run the game in a window, which you know some people might do, it like locks your mouse in the window, and I don't think anyone wants that. Yeah. They can deal with the pain of their mouse going out of the window if they're playing in window mode, right? Yep, and that is pretty much it. Nice little scrolling. Oh yeah, and of course if you wanna stop it from scrolling, just set it to false, and it doesn't scroll. Yep. So that's it for the office scrolling tutorial, and see you on the next one.